Good morning, guys. This week we're going to start a new topic, still working with fractions. So we've gone from adding and subtracting fractions and simplifying the sum or difference. We went to multiplying fractions and simplifying if we need to. And this week we're going to be dividing fractions. So remember that we have two ways we can do this. We can divide whole numbers, and in fifth grade we do a unit fraction, which means that just the fraction has a 1 on top. Or we can divide fractions by whole numbers. So we're going to start off today just going through the strategy that we started during school, which was keep, change, flip. And you're going to see me put in some different videos this week so that you can remember what keep, change, flip means. Okay? Now, the first thing I want you to do before we go into the strategy is I want you to join me, and we're going to talk about what this means, okay? So we're dividing whole numbers in this first video by fractions, okay? So I want you to make sure that you understand that a whole is something that hasn't been cut into pieces. In other words, the entire object is still there. Now, I'm going to make this real simple. I'm going to start with 4 wholes, 4 whole oranges here, okay? And I'm going to divide them into fourths, into 1/4. So when I do this, that means that I'm going to cut the whole number into 4 pieces, as equal as I can. Okay? Now, remember that when we change, we used to call it switch, we change division to multiplication, because usually when we divide, we get a smaller number. And in fractions, when we divide, our answer or quotient appears to be bigger than what we started with. But the only reason it appears to be bigger is because we've cut multiple pieces. That's why we switched to multiplication. But the pieces are much smaller than what we started off with. So now you can see that I've cut 4 whole oranges into 1/4 or fourths. Okay? So I kept my 4 oranges. I switched to multiplication because I made multiple pieces. And then I flipped my fraction, my second fraction. And if you look at the pieces, I'm going to try to line them up here so that you can see. When I divide 4 into fourths, let me get all these straight, I end up with 16 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It doesn't mean that when I get 16 as an answer that I got a bigger number. It means that I took my 4 whole and I cut them into smaller pieces. Now, we're going to take that and we're going to go to our strategy. Okay? So we're going to do 3 quick problems together so that you can get started on your own. Okay? So the first one I have is 6 divided by 1/3. Now, remember that when we're working with whole numbers and fractions, it's best to go ahead and make that whole number into a fraction by putting it over 1. Okay? Now, remember our strategy. Keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep whatever's first, our dividend. Okay? So that's going to stay the same, 6 over 1. I'm going to switch from division or change division to multiplication because I'm going to create more pieces. And then I'm going to flip my second fraction. So 1/3 becomes 3 over 1. Now I have a multiplication problem. I basically go numerator to numerator and denominator to denominator. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. So my quotient in this case is 18, or 18 over 1, equivalent to 18. Let's try another one. Now, as I work these out, make sure you're paying attention and make sure that it makes sense to you. So I'm going to move over here to the other side, okay? And now I'm going to divide 8 whole into 1/6. So it's just like having 8 of those oranges and cutting them into 6 equal pieces. So I'm going to change my 8 into a fraction. My new problem is going to become keep my first one. So I keep 8 over 1, change to multiplication, and flip 1/6 to 6 over 1. And multiply. 8 times 6 is 48. 1 times 1 is 1. 48 over 1, or just plain 48. For our last one that we're going to do together, we're going to do 12 divided by 1/4. So I have 12 whole objects. I'm going to turn it into a fraction, and I'm going to divide each of them into 4 equal pieces, into 1/4. I'm going to use my strategy, keep my first fraction, which is 12 over 1. Change division to multiplication. I'm going to create more pieces. Flip my second fraction upside down. And then multiply. 12 times 4 is 48. 1 times 1 is 1. 48 over 1, or 48. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to practice doing some just like this by doing a matching game. Do not skip the matching game. That's how I grade you.